think I'm breaking every FCC rule in the book.
All the way! Touchdown, Cleveland!
I'm calling both games.
I'd like to take a moment to talk to you about the sponsor of today's video, Raycon. Allow me to preach a gospel of wireless earbuds to you. Imagine a place where you can get the same quality earbud as the major competitors at roughly half the cost. Imagine your ears being rushed by booming bass, a comfortable noise-isolating fit, and seamless Bluetooth pairing. You don't have to imagine with the everyday E25s. They offer a wonderful variety of colors and a sleek design for those lounging days around the house or working on a few projects. Me personally, I love the sound quality. Just the sheer richness of sound flooding my ears makes me oblivious to the world around me. Perfect for getting away from those nagging people around you, you know? These babies also have a 45-day free return policy, so if they aren't for you, there's no hassle whatsoever. What's the catch? Absolutely nothing. Maybe getting 15% off of your order could help you decide. All you have to do to claim it is to go to buyraycon.com/utree. Remember to thank Raycon for sponsoring this video. And for the NFL for doing whatever they do. Grudge match. Tom Brady versus Big Dick Nick. Two different teams, two different paths, the same destination. Only with much more inaccuracy from Foles. Nick, we know you have a huge appendage, but you have to control it if you're to succeed. With this pep talk, Foles rallies his magical powers to bring Chicago back to the lead. The rest of the game was a battle of defenses. Brady quickly being devoured by the relentless Bears pass rush and Chicago trying to do anything to generate offense. Their weapon of choice was the field goal. As the Bears squeak by to a 1-point lead, they're looking for their first ever win against Tom Brady. I know, shocking, but he's known for incredible comeback drives. The dink and dunk, the field general, the man who forgets it was 4th down and gives Chicago the win. Wait a minute. The Titans seem to be the whipping boy for all of society's failings as of late. Corona Chan has taken up a temporary residence with the team. For a group that hasn't had their facilities open for over a week, they are still getting new positive cases. They are currently up to 23. There was also a journalist who saw the scoop of a century by stumbling on some news. A group of players gathered for an impromptu practice a week earlier at a high school field. Uh-oh, Tennessee, that's not a good look with everyone on a witch hunt. Practices during a team lockdown, that's illegal. The punishments for such a faux pas could be historic. And with a continued string of days with cases, their matchup with Buffalo is now being delayed. Behold, Tuesday Night Football. Another brilliant idea for the NFL to eventually milk the shit out of in a few years. New England, unfortunately, has also had Corona Chan make another visit to the team. Just like last time, it's to another big-name player, Stephon Gilmore. This newest revelation has made the NFL shit its pants once again. Due to both being knee-jerk and not having any idea what the hell an incubation period is, this game is also being delayed. It will now be a matinee matchup before Monday Night Football. At least that's what was supposed to happen. Once again, what the fuck is an incubation period? They reopened both the New England and Tennessee facilities and are shocked that new positive tests emerged? I could have told you that it took potentially up to 2 weeks to manifest enough to generate a positive test, and I'm nowhere near an epidemiologist. So now the Broncos-Patriots game is being delayed to next week. Broncos-Dolphins was supposed to happen then, but is now being pushed back as well. And we'll probably begin another cycle of redirections and scrambling that puts Belichick's scheming to shame. You really have no contingency plan for COVID outbreaks, do you? It's time to kiss the rings, bitch. The Bengals get to play one of their older brothers of the conference. A traditional ass-whooping as punishment for reasons of Tyler Boyd a few years ago. The new rich kid in Joe Burrow gets to be beaten up on the playground as the Ravens feast on their rotting carcasses. There was only pain and death in Cincinnati. No, that is not what they call Skyline Chili, although it might as well be after this beating. You want it to stop, but I'm sorry, Baltimore doesn't have any benchmarks as to what is justified after 2017. It's just going to keep going for a good bit. Jets fans, do you want to die yet? Because this newest news will make you want to go even further into the ground. Sam Darnold was successfully killed by Gase. Your new quarterback is the elite complement to his brilliance. Joe Flacco. Even in his twilight, the checkdowns will flare until the end of time. So what this means is that Arizona just has to stand there and watch the Jets try to out-genius themselves at every angle. Kyler did what he usually does and allows the Cardinals to sit back and enjoy what is equivalent to a free win. The Jets look even shittier than before, and now they get the worst start they've had since 1996. Some great organization you have, boys. Since the fallout of the first firing of this young season, we now get to see how much of a hack Bill O'Brien truly was. It's not just his terrible game planning, but he had completely pissed off the team. When JJ Watt is openly calling you out in practice for being useless, that is evidence that you shouldn't be coaching in this league. Watt never bitches, and he did that. And then the team openly rebelled against O'Brien's abrasive coaching style. Why do Belichick disciples try to be a more aggressive version of him? Shit doesn't work unless you win. It shows against Jacksonville, Houston now being led by a placeholder in Romeo Crennel. It honestly felt like the Texans were much more relaxed, even if the Jags aren't a quality team in most senses. Duval's blatant self-destruction did more than enough to help. Stephen Hauschka embraced fat acceptance by going wide with his kicks. The offense followed suit with a case of play-calling diabetes. A halfback pass on a 4th and 1? Why haven't people been fired in Jacksonville for this? In fact, why weren't they fired last season? The tank is back on track, but fuck, this is ugly to witness. The art of the draft bust. Sometimes it takes a while, but sometimes it occurs with rapid speed. Dwayne Haskins has been pretty shit in his sample size, even when apparently talking shit about his production in the locker room. After a double-digit loss, the time has come. Haskins has been benched for Kyle Allen. That's rough, but honestly deserved. Perhaps that rumored trade will give him the change of scenery he needs to thrive. Didn't help that football team whatsoever. Yes, I called them the football team. Sue me, I'm tired of tiptoeing around it. Kyle Allen's now injured, Haskins has a stomach ailment, and... oh my god. He has returned. Alex Smith. Left for dead while traveling to Jericho, the lost prophet arrives with a fully healed leg. As he returns to his horse to lead his team, he gets the privilege of getting his ass kicked by the Rams. What an honor for the years of painful rehab and fears that he may never play again. Hail to the Washington football team. I still don't give a fuck that it's not hip to say anymore. The Falcons are dead. I don't even have to pretend that they aren't at this point, they're fucking dead. Not just to me, but to the entire NFL world. I had a feeling those pass chokes earlier in the year would be ones they couldn't recover from. It's looking like they won't. Carolina may be mostly unimposing, but they appear to be well coached and don't make many mistakes. In these situations, it will be more than enough. Yes, Todd Gurley may be back to rumbling with the rock, but the rest of the team sure as fuck isn't. More soft zone, more weak coverages, more uninspiring schemes. The secondary is wrecked. Matt Ryan is trying way too hard to carry the team. The Panthers barely have to try to win. 0-5. Another wasted season awaits. I wasn't kidding a few weeks ago. Delete your franchise. You'd have more dignity that way. Several hours after this lifeless affair, Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff have finally been fired. It's far too late. Did you know Dimitroff has been here for 12 years? I'm surprised he lasted that long after Mike Smith got canned. In hindsight, they should have fired Quinn after 28-3, but it would have looked insane at the time. Now we know that Super Bowl run was a fluke, like most Falcon teams of history. Few coaches have done less with more at the NFL level than Dan Quinn has. All of the talent that is put on that jersey over the past 5 years, and all you get out of it is relentless underachieving? Quinn has been revealed to be a fraud. A man who was carried by one of the most talented defenses in Seattle to relevance. As coach of the Falcons, he's been exposed time and time again. His legacy in Atlanta is set in stone. A total choker. And we're not just talking 28-3, that's merely icing on the cake. We're talking starting a season 5-0 to miss the playoffs. We're talking being heavy favorites against an injured Eagles team in January to totally shit the bed. We're talking blowing double-digit leads in the fourth quarter repeatedly. We're talking about kicking a fucking field goal on the goal line in a game they were down by 4 with 3 minutes left. This man has wasted so much that Lehman Bennett is cringing somewhere in disgust. You know what to do now? Keep going. Get rid of Rich McKay as well. This organization needs a thorough nuking. It's the only way to wash away the stench of failure. Arthur Blank seems like a good guy, but he's way too loyal to his underlings. In the end, it's cost them far more than what they were worth. Las Vegas's delusions are pretty well known in the NFL world. They don't get respect, they say. Max Crosby is better than Khalil Mack, they say. We just need to get rid of Derek Carr and they'll be a good team, they say. Playing the Chiefs should be a death sentence for any team, as they have lorded over the rest of the AFC West for half a decade, but Kansas City, how do I put this, got into method acting. They really wanted to get into the mindset of their opponents, and that apparently meant getting into a lifestyle of gambling. Take deep shots down the field, but go all out in blitzes and pray man coverage will be good enough to stop the likes of Henry Ruggs and Nelson Aguilar. They lose to the dealer there. Seriously, you made Aguilar look good? The offense is at least clicking and the game is tied at 24. Then the Chiefs try going back to the craps table. Go all on red, they said. Our hand is magic. Black. Kansas City loses everything on offense. The Raiders inject themselves with some of that old school tonic to get them to the promised land. Kansas City loses to an AFC West team, something about as rare as a profitable casino during a pandemic. And you know why this happened, right? Vegas didn't turn the ball over. They kept the game plan simple and effective. It was rewarded with a win. Didn't exactly see this coming. The Battle of Pennsylvania. Nothing brings me more joy than wanting to drink the tears of Philadelphians everywhere. Be it in any sport, our mutual hatred of one another is what football is all about. Even with Philly's injuries, the Steelers have to make this into a show. The New Age Steel Curtain chose to power down and allow a battered Eagles offense chance after chance to get into this game. Who in the Sam hell is Travis Fulgham, and why can't Pittsburgh cover him in the slightest? Figures this dude was once a Detroit Lion because they can't do anything until they leave that place. Does the same apply to Chase Claypool by proxy? I know he was in a different state in college, but he was close enough to feel the regressing power of Detroit, I think. Thank the gods for Claypool. It made things a bit more enjoyable as the Black and Gold Brigade chose to play down to competition yet again. The offense got conservative, the defense bent, and the lead suddenly vanished to 2. Then Eric Ebron unleashed his inner Detroit. Philly has a shot to shock the world again. The offense can't get much going, but they are at the Steelers' 40-yard line with 3 minutes left. 4th and 5. This is where I have to openly question Doug Peterson's logic. I don't care how good Jake Elliott is, trying to kick a 57-yarder to put you up by 1 with plenty of time on the clock is a foolish idea. Why not just go for it? Aren't you supposed to be an aggressive coach? Perhaps that would have prevented yet another week where Philly wants your head. The Steelers get an ugly, ugly win. No one gives a shit though, they're still going to the Super Bowl. You remember those 3 points the Eagles could have used? Here's where they missed them. The Eagles are pushing to get into field goal range in the first half. Carson is moving the ball around. He's making moves. He throws a nice pass to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. But the fucker starts to celebrate. He was tackled in bounds. The Eagles have no timeouts. The clock hits 0. No chance for a field goal. Blame the officials all you want, Philly, but I understand why you want this guy's head. The long-term ramifications to this game make this man our illustrious lol cow of the week. I think that's how his NFL career has gone so far. I fear a time when the animals we lord over rebel against us. They will gain sentience, organize militias, and overtake their human oppressors. That time may be now. The Dolphins have found life, and they are angry. They have grown tired of being used as the show ponies of the sea. The only flipper here is as a blunt weapon. Their first target, a battered coastal port in the 49ers. Under a relentless onslaught, San Francisco has no chance. Their defense is shredded, their offense is picked apart, and Jimmy Garoppolo, the suave money man himself, was made to look like pure shit. Wanna know how bad? He got benched at halftime for C.J. Beathard. I will personally take the time to welcome our new Dolphin Masters, and may they reign over us with both mercy and contempt. To think the NFL wants us to see Giants-Cowboys for the trillionth time instead of this barn burner. This game has serious playoff implications. The Colts are white-hot coming into this game. Their defense impenetrable. The Browns are white-hot coming into this game. Their offense able to kill you in 10 different ways by the end of a drive. The game was as good as advertised. Both teams within striking distance at halftime. Something had to give. In that case, the giving was from Phillip Rivers. For the love of God, Phil, stop trying to get everyone pregnant. You're a fucking Minotaur! Once again, the Colts are in a dire situation. The quarterback position is holding them back from their true potential. Cleveland also made mistakes, but they're doing enough to seal the win. They got a new kicker, right? I forgot who they... Oh, fuck.
46-yard attempt is good.
Dude not only got the field goal, he hit the uprights while doing it. The most accurate kicker ever is enough to roll to 4-1. Their best record since some scrubs named Bill Belichick and Nick Saban were coaches here. I doubt they became anything. Nothing good comes from this shithole. I don't see football. I see trash on this field. The league's worst offense against the league's worst defense. And it's considered a marquee matchup. The only thing is what would win out. The awful or the even more awful. The G-Men would somehow roll out to an early lead due to some awful mistakes by Dallas, and much hatred was brewing. That hatred would eventually lead to a comeback of sorts. Oh, wonderful, Daniel Jones fumbled the football, caused a key turnover, and led to a massive momentum shift. Again. Let's finish out this concoction of a half with a ripoff of the Phillies special, ironically against a Belichick disciple. What a weird-ass game. How is this gonna get more fucked? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I hate the Cowboys, but Jesus Christ, why him? Dak's dealt with enough shit this year! Is this the price we have to pay for Alex Smith coming back? A soul for a soul? Prescott might have played his last snap as a Cowboy. Not because of his injury, but remember, he's on his franchise tag. I think he'll be back to form eventually, but God, that's brutal. Now they put all of their hopes on the Red Rifle. Andy Dalton back in the saddle. Both the Giants and Cowboys know the stakes, despite the devastation that has occurred on both sides. Dallas and New York taking turns trying to hand the opposite team a win. New York is up by 3, but the Cowboys have a game to win in honor of a certain somebody. The field goal will be their weapon. The Giants' secondary is still trash. Dallas must have their Pyrrhic victory, no matter the future cost.
They're going to pick out the guy to double they want. One of these guys is going to come down. Going deep for Gallup.
Normally, I would completely shit on the Cowboys for nearly losing a game to one of the worst teams in football, but considering the circumstances, I'll let them have this one. Minnesota is hoping to ride a wave of momentum after last week's win against the Texans. Seattle will be a much tougher test, but the fans will not be in attendance. So perhaps that takes away part of the Seahawks' advantage? A good bit of it, as Seattle could do nothing in the first half. Literally a goose egg. The Vikings jump out to a 13-0 lead at halftime. Minnesota comes to wonder what to do. They've never gotten this far, and it shows in how they came out in the second half. The typical Viking crumblings allow Seattle to gain 21 unanswered points. More fears are coming for them, but something insane happens. The Seahawks want to overload their city's hospitals due to heart attacks. They love doing it, as you can tell by allowing the Vikings to regain control of the lead by 5. They're eating tons of clock and have a chance to finish them off. 4th and inches at the Seattle 5-yard line. Normally I'd be for taking the points, but I understand what they want to do. Go for the kill. You get a first down, you eat more clock, burn timeouts, and finish off the game with the field goal. The idea is sound. The execution was fucking putrid. A tunnel run up the gut when they're expecting it? And now that pathetic secondary has to defend a charge from Russell Wilson? Yeah, that's not happening. Just get it the fuck over with, boys.
Wilson surveys, fires, and it is going to be caught!
Even for the Vikings, this was an impressive job. A game you had in the bag and you Atlanta it so badly that even Dan Quinn would be embarrassed. Why the fuck didn't you do a rollout on 4th down?
You blew it. Fish.
Michael Thomas will not be playing in this contest. You might ask, how is this important? He hasn't played in the last few weeks. Context. Thomas isn't playing due to a disciplinary measure. He got into a fight with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in practice. I've heard tales of Thomas being an egotistical asshole, but clocking a dude in the face? That's a bit further than I had thought. So now the Saints get another must-win matchup against a Charger crew dealing with several weeks of painful defeats. New Orleans is allowed to experience such frustrations firsthand. For those of you keeping score at home, Drew Brees and the Saints secondary are just as terrible as they've looked in recent weeks. I get it's Justin Herbert and he can throw a football, but can't both statements be correct? The Chargers, just like last week, have a 17-point lead before the end of the first half. But you know this team. You can't take it easy. Somehow, some way, they will fuck it up. It is a tradition that predates the fandom of many watching this program. It is Spanos, the hands of fate. It's just as terrible and unintentionally hilarious to watch as well. In a near-carbon copy of last week, the Charger offense shuts down and the Saints come back to tie the game. Drew Brees even threw another pass longer than 10 yards, the most surprising thing I've seen happen so far. Fortunately for LA, the Saints have no fucking secondary. That's it. I put more effort into that than the secondary apparently did on that zone read. It may end up being tight again, but yes, Saints secondary. New Orleans is playing like shit and deserves to lose. I'm ready to shit on these fuckers, and all that's needed is a field goal. Allow me this honor.
For a Los Angeles victory. On the way, off the upright, and no good!
Just to suffer.
You think you've had a bad week? You think you know what pain is? The Chargers aren't just in pain. They are pain. They have been born into pain, were raised by pain, and will wither and die in pain. Every fiber of their existence is to maximize pain. Their analytics department researches more efficient ways to develop pain. They have nothing. No clutch wins, no special teams, no fans, no respect, no pride, no true home. Only pain. It is their constant. It is their comfort. It is their fate. Forever and ever and ever. Pain.
Dear, please hit me as hard as you can. Don't hold back.
The COVID infestation seems to have been cleared from Tennessee, so we have Tuesday Night Football. It will probably get massive ratings because football is king. The Titans should have been crushed. No real practices in over a week and facing one of the best teams in the AFC. But apparently during their rest, the Titans developed psionic powers and forced Buffalo to submit to their autonomous rule. Before we continue, a quick moment of silence to remember what was Josh Norman. Some say his soul was banished to the ether after this hit. The Bills may have been as well after what they experienced in Nashville. If they're down there, they could possibly find Josh Allen's passing prowess. It wasn't available in this game. We got his rookie form as Malcolm Butler comes from stage left to feast on interceptions. So much for the potential forfeits we were wanting. Maybe Buffalo felt bad and just forfeited effort instead? Would at least make some sort of sense, right?
Guess what, boys and girls? It's not just the Mets that are bringing the laughs. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, you can breathe easy. The butt fumble is the king of the laughter. Their saga with Le'Veon Bell has been one of the butt fumbliest butt fumbles to have ever been butt fumbled. They sign him to a huge contract only for the head coach to hate him from the moment he signed. Le'Veon is borderline sabotaged as LOL Jets runs wild throughout MetLife. Check out this stat line. 17 games played, his longest rush being 19 yards, no 100-yard games, 4 touchdowns. Incredible robbery by a running back with a ton of warning signs heading into free agency. Every month or two he's rumored to be traded, but they can't because who wants to pay $15 million for a running back that isn't performing? The Jets will need to think hard about this one.
They cut him? Jets! What the hell are you doing?
It's a horrible contract, but you don't do this shit. It's only off-season.
I don't care if Jets fans get tired of it. You were a butt fumble. Contract this fucking team. Bring back the New Jersey General. Fuck, even Donald Trump could run a football team better than these clowns. At least he cared about the on-field product in the USFL. Fucking hell.
It doesn't just stop there. Sam Darnold is being ruined like Fred Wilpon touching a beauty queen. Adam Gase is still here. That's it, it's so bad that Adam Gase being here is a strike against the team. Jamal Adams did the wise thing and fled while he still could. Things are so dire in North Jersey that they'll be begging for Leon Hess and Rich Kotite. When the bottom has been reached, they go even lower. That's why the Jets have usurped the title of and are deservedly the lol cow of the week.
Jets, please never change. Hail to Nurgle. May these injuries aid in his pestilence.
Unit lost. 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 Unit lost.
We lost the Pro Bowl, and not a single person feels bad for it.
How come quarterbacks never threw me the ball like that? I had a couple of those.
Short kick fielded by Rodgers as he straddles his goal line. Rodgers has him daylight up the sideline. Rodgers still going. It'll cut back. Rodgers breaking free. And Rodgers will score. And how about that response from Indianapolis?